Good
Let's
morning.
go. Good
How
morning,
is
Mike Carson.
everyone doing out there today? We got some people jumping in here.
Sweet.
Well, we got one. We got Adam Schwagel. Adam, good
Hello,
morning.
Adam.
Thanks for stopping in and saying hi.
Yeah, I figured out the whole Facebook thing because I posted about our Shriners Sportsman's raffle. Facebook had banned me from going live. So we're live on YouTube. Forget
Gotta
Facebook
love it.
today.
Morning, EJ.
Hello, EJ.
Morning, Marion.
How you doing?
She's
This is
Nurse Dan. We'll just call her Nurse Dan. She's
Nurse
married to
Dan.
Dr. Dan.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
So, how
Hey,
was your weekend?
uh, man, my weekend was interesting. Yeah, I was in the hospital all weekend. I got blood
To say
clots in
the
my left
least.
leg. Yeah, but hey, I'm out. I'm alive. I woke up this morning, so it's a good day. And you like
Good
my
day.
hat? I got a really cool
I
new
do.
hat.
I
So
I said I like your hat as soon as we
yes,
got on.
yeah. But the people,
The people,
the
Air
people.
Force dad.
I just know there's still some road
Uh,
rash. I got road rash everywhere. It's fun. So
morning,
uh
Garrison.
yeah,
So
fun stuff.
you
So
had a little visit to the hospital.
yeah, yeah, all good, all
Yeah,
good.
all better.
Getting there. We're on the mends. It's been an interesting week and a half, but again, bottom line is I woke up this morning. It's a good day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there's gonna be a really cool story when all this is said and done to put in the book of Shayna and Jason. So yeah, another
It's
good
gonna be a
miracle story,
long,
man.
long book.
Yeah, you
Have
know,
fun writing that one.
if cats have 9 lives and humans, I don't know how many lives humans have, but I'm sure I'm on like live 6 by now in my life. So yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, let me pray us in real quick, and then you can go over the verse,
All right.
and we'll get started on our weekly topic this week. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for allowing Jason to be with us. Uh, Thanks for keeping him relatively safe, and you're allowing him to go through some things for your purpose, Lord. There's a purpose behind all this. There's a reason behind everything that happens to us, and you guide us on a path. Sometimes it's tough, and everyone out there goes through things, and we've all come across our own road rash in our lives.
Mm,
And sometimes it hurts. And we know that if you bring us to it, you can bring us through it. And I thank you for that. And there's nothing that we can't handle in your name. I pray these things in your name. Amen.
yeah. It's interesting. Our scripture, I'm gonna go with Colossians. I kind of like the Colossians. It's 3:23-24, the NIV. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. As I sat in, dang it, sorry, I sat in the hospital bed Sunday morning. I watched services um, from a few different churches. My dad's church. I got a really good friend who's a pastor up in Michigan. Watched their church. That was really cool because he, at the very end of the service, he goes, we're gonna stop and pray for my buddy Jason and his wife. I want everybody to come to the front, and we're gonna face the camera because I know he's watching right now." And man, that was a special moment right there. But and even from our church service at our church, it was a very common theme and about Job. And I had a friend that was talking to me about Job this week as well. And, like Job, my faith through my life has faltered many, many times. And there are several times in my life that I really feel like the enemy thought he had won. He'd taken me out. And this is one of those moments. And that hit me Sunday majorly, right? So, even some days when I don't think things are going to work out the way I want them to work out, or maybe the way that I've been praying for them to work out, in the end, like Job, I'm still going to trust him. And that's the big lesson out of this for me, right? I woke up this morning, good day. So,
That's awesome. Well,
and that, my friends, is better than a dad joke.
yeah. I don't think any dad joke's gonna
Yeah. Hey, we are talking
matter.
my favorite subjects today, and that's marketing, marketing mastery. We're going to give you some tips for some implementation you can put into your business. You've got Mike, the SEO pro. I'm going to just say it that way, SEO pro. I mean, I've been studying and doing marketing for years, and I tell you, I love marketing. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
It changes so much. There's so much to learn. Like, I was writing my book and I was like, I could make this thing 10,000 pages long, you know, and it's like, where do you stop? There's just so much to talk about and so much that you can do in different ways. But out of 10,000 pages, how do you cut it down to it's a 80-20 rule. 20% of your marketing efforts are going to give you 80% of your results.
Yeah.
So what's that 20%? So that's what I focused on in my book. Marion said, "Thank you for not going 10K." Yeah, that would be, it's daunting enough to read this book and listen to it. And it was daunting enough to write it. So I just couldn't imagine. To me, it's a novel already.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the 20%, you've got to know what that 20% is, where you can focus most of your time
Mhm.
and not worry about the other 80% of the things that you can do. Just so you don't waste time, energy, money, and focus on things that just don't work. And
Yeah.
there's so many people out there in the marketing industry that post all these blog posts about all these little hacks or tips or tricks, and it's just clickbait.
Yeah.
That's all they write it for, is literally just clickbait. They're just looking for traffic to their own website or whatever, or to make themselves sound like an authority.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of that stuff might work, but it's such an incremental little thing. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do some things like that. So,
Mhm.
I mean, a combination of the big things and the small things are what really matter. And but you could do so many things, and those incremental things, it would take you so long to do so many of those 80% incremental things that you'd still might not see enough results for it to matter.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into this, shall we?
Let's go.
First one, let's talk about some modern content marketing strategies. Um, I have had I had a little bit of a difficulty with this one. When I took over the marketing for our business, in the past for service detectives, it was easy. I would take pictures of things that I was doing and I would storytell, right? Well, in today's modern age, video catches attention. And so you've got YouTube shorts, Instagram shorts, Facebook reels and shorts, and TikTok. And let me tell you, if you're not on TikTok, you might want to consider it, because we were at what was it, ASTI or PSA in Vegas, and I had a guy just almost like running up to us. He's like, "Man, I watch you guys on TikTok. I had to just come meet you in person." I'm like, "Okay, this is cool. I my efforts are actually being seen." So, and the cool thing about videos is that you can share behind the scenes stuff, right? Like for my office help, we do a popcorn Friday, usually about once a month. We started an either or video where it's, it's asking, we usually try to get 3 to 5 people in each video where they're asking them either or question like Coke or Pepsi, standing desk or sitting desk, right? One of those videos. And so it gets people to see that, hey, these are real people, right? That are behind the scenes doing this. Um, Other things, EJ does a pretty good job of it. Testimonials, right? Getting clients to do a short video clip. That's easy to do when you're at the house, you're at the end of the job. Mrs. Jones, one of the things that really helps me out is testimonials. If you'd be willing either to give a written testimonial, either on Google or Facebook, here's the link, or I've got my camera. If you're okay with it, I'll just shoot a really short clip of you saying whatever you want to say about the service today. And those things are gold. I mean, especially reviews today. That's like the new currency when it comes to, SEO and just sharing things on social media. People love watching video testimonials. We've got a ton of them on our pages as well. So that's one of the fun things about storytelling and videos, especially. But if you're
Yeah.
doing
I think the
cleaning out
hardest
the dryer,
part of all of it is actually doing it and staying consistent.
correct? Yes, you have to be consistent. I know we'll talk about that next. If you're taking apart a dryer, you know, I, that one amazes me every time. You take apart of the dryer, here's all this stuff, here's all this nasty lint that's built up. Take pictures of it. If you're not good at video, take pictures of it. Throw that on your social media and tell the story. Yeah, I went to this customer's house today, ended up pulling the dryer apart. Look at all this that could have potentially caused a problem. Thankfully, I found this. Mrs. Jones let me clean it out, and now she's safe for X amount of time, right? Simple, but it's so powerful. That's the key about that.
Yeah. I love the content that you put out. There's a lot of cool, funny stuff, little
Yeah.
there's a lot of personality behind what you put out. And
Mhm.
that's that's what makes it enjoyable, and that's what makes people stop scrolling,
Yeah.
when they come across it.
Mhm.
So, consistency in your posting. That's like I said, I think that's the hardest thing. I mean, I find that very challenging for me.
Yeah.
Um, it's like, what do I really need to spend time on? And I'm always too busy working on other people's businesses rather than my own. It's
OPP,
like
baby.
there's so many people out there, they're too busy fixing other people's stuff instead of working on their own business. It's
Yeah.
really hard as a business owner to find balance or find someone to help you do that
Yeah.
effectively and good, that's on a budget.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've got a content person on my team, but she's so busy doing content for our blog posts and our client sites and things like that we're doing, that it's really hard. Like, she can't do the video stuff yet. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no time. So it's like I almost need to have another person to help me do the video stuff because I
Yeah.
don't have time to do it either.
Yeah.
And you can definitely outsource a lot of that stuff, but you still have to babysit it, right?
Yep.
You still have to figure out what they're going to do and work with them on, this is how our brand messaging needs to come across. This is how our brand voice has to come across.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's the hardest part. You as the business owner doing your own, it's easy.
Yeah.
You automatically know what it needs to be.
Yeah.
But when somebody else comes into the mix, that's
Mhm.
where it gets really hard to get them to get it.
Yeah.
Once they do, it's good.
Yeah.
But like anything, there's a lot of training involved.
Yeah. Marion's got a good question on here, or Dr. Dan, whoever, whichever.
Nurse Dan.
Nurse Dan. What about taking the stills and turning into a video? Yeah, super popular. TikTok has a really easy editor to take videos. There's CapCut. I mean, there's a ton of still editors out there that you can turn into videos. It's the content, right? It's all about the content. Some other things you could do is, run a contest. We did one before with our vehicle that was, I Spy the Yellow Van, right? All our vans were bright yellow. And so I even bought the URL code, or um, the web domain, and had to point towards a certain page. It was www.ispytheyellowvan.com. And people would take pictures of our vans if they saw them around town or whatever it was, post it on our social media, right? And we had a contest. And I can't remember what we ended up giving away, but I mean, it was significant. I think it was like a whole home surge protector that we installed. So that was really cool, right? Running fun contests. Think about things that you can do as far as contests. Educational content is always really good. Um, Turning your camera on and maybe just doing a top 10 post about, home maintenance, or dryer maintenance or appliance maintenance. You could do a series of videos, do them 10 weeks in a row. Hey, this is week 2 of top 10 appliance maintenance tips from your appliance pro EJ here. This week we're going to be talking about dishwasher maintenance, and give them a few little tips, right? So that's another one. Good question, Marion.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to create these things.
Yeah. You have a
Excuse me.
phone, and the phones do really good videos, and it's
Yeah.
not that tough to edit. It really isn't. Um, yeah, it's one of those things that there's so many editing apps out there nowadays that can even do it for you. Yeah. So
I think with video, here's where everybody really gets hung up. You worry about making it perfect.
yep, don't make it
But
perfect.
look at everybody's videos. Nobody's videos are perfect these days, and that's on purpose.
Yep.
It used to be that every video had to be so polished and
Yeah.
professional, and it was like embarrassing if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Now everyone loves the authenticity
Yeah.
of an unedited video,
Yeah.
or something that actually shows somebody going on the struggle bus.
I
you
tell you,
know
car dealerships are ones that you've seen a huge change in their marketing approach, in at least in my area, because it used to be, come on down to this Chevrolet and, we'll make you a great deal. And it was just picture perfect of this commercial. And now especially I think since TikTok, really, I do TikTok, and um, they're just funny clips, right? They're hilarious clips. They're, people doing funny stuff to grab your attention. And there's nothing perfect about it. They catch somebody tripping over a carpet, in the dealership, one of the people selling, not an actual client, but they catch people, and it's like, man, you'll trip over our deals too, and it's just stupid stuff that catches your attention. Like Mike said, don't worry about it being perfect. That's a great point, Mike. Good
yeah.
point.
I mean, people like seeing other people make mistakes.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's that's why you go to a NASCAR event. You're
Yeah.
there for the crashes,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes, those wrecks are the most, I guess, dramatic thing that happens, and that's what people want. People love drama. Whether you like it or not yourself, people love seeing
Yeah.
drama,
Yeah.
and they love seeing people mess up or doing stupid things.
Yeah.
Otherwise you wouldn't have had the Tide Pod challenge,
Yeah.
with those stupid kids. But
I
I
think
digress.
you hit it. You hit it earlier. Consistent posting, right? So, like on my office help, I decided to do a motivational Monday, and I've done motivational Monday for months now. I was gonna say weeks, but no, it's been months. And sometimes it's a still post of one of our team members and maybe one of their favorite clients. Sometimes it's a video of, one of our team members and their favorite quote. Sometimes it's a picture of, a famous person from the past and their motivational quote. And sometimes it's just the quote, right? But it changes up just enough to try to keep people's attention. Thanks, EJ.
Mhm.
But the key thing is consistency, right? And on social media, um, there is Tom. I wish Tom could be on today because he's great at helping you figure this stuff out. Tom Harness Digital Marketing. I'm gonna throw that out there for you. I'm not sure if he's taking clients right now or not, but man, he's really good. But just learning when to post, how to post, things like that. It's not rocket science. If anything, just start posting once a day, right? Um, I am on pretty much all social media channels because Tom told us to at this time. I don't like being on Twitter, X, whatever it's called nowadays. It's me personally. I don't see a lot of benefit there for my business. Facebook has been really probably the biggest for us. We're starting to get some leverage on LinkedIn for our business. But again, a service business versus now what we do is completely different. And for us, when we go to a vendor show, you're going to have everybody walk up and, hey, I see you guys are on Twitter, and it's, the consistency. So you guys are real. Got it. Okay, cool. Hey, you're on TikTok, man. You guys have some funny videos on there. Thanks for posting. Man, I see you guys all the time on Facebook. It's great, right? So everybody, unfortunately, in this world today, LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn and you're a business owner, get on LinkedIn, because you're going to connect with people, and there's going to be some things that happen there as well for your business. So that would be, for me, Facebook, LinkedIn, probably for sure YouTube, no matter what. And then start doing some fun stuff on TikTok and sharing it. If anything, get those three going. I use Loomly, is what I use. There are tons of platforms out there to help you post, but Loomly will connect and send it out to several different ones. And it helps me with analytics as well to see what's doing well, what's not. Yeah, that's what I hit.
Yeah.
Loomly. So
That's why
yeah,
I popped it up.
yeah, good question, Paul. Perfect timing. For me, I use Loomly, and that's just we tried a couple different platforms. Loomly was a fairly good price compared to everything. I'm able to do all of the different social media platforms as well as YouTube that I'm currently on, and so that does really well. You can just search My Office Help on your favorite social media platform. It's either My Office Help or My Office Help US, as the username. And that's the other thing, consistency in your name, right? On
Mhm.
some of them, My Office Help was already taken by some overseas companies, and so we put My Office Help US on there. So, yeah.
Saul said he's gonna make videos of him drinking Cuban coffee and shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah, just don't shake babies and kiss hands, okay?
Yeah.
That's not
Sounds like Saul's going into politics.
Uh-oh. Shoot.
All right. So I mean, you said a lot. There's a lot you can do in social
Yeah.
media.
Like I said, this is my favorite topic right here.
The social media stuff is, I mean, that alone, you, some there's people that could write a 10,000 word or page book on social media alone. There's just so much. So our last real topic is SEO for business. I don't know anything about this. I don't even know where to start.
This is probably your favorite topic, right?
It's what I do all day, every day,
Right.
start to finish. Keyword research.
I'm
Keyword
gonna get
research
you.
is where everything starts. You're gonna what?
I was gonna see if I can get a link for Loomly for you all. I'll drop it in here while Mike's talking.
Okay, you work on that. Well, number one, keyword research. In all of your marketing, keyword research is the first thing that you need to do. Because if you don't know what is popular or which keywords are the most searched, everything else is fruitless. Because I see so many people doing all this marketing stuff, but they don't research a keyword. Like what keyword are you going after that has actual volume behind it and traffic behind it? Whether it's your blog posts, whether it's your videos, whether it's any posting that you do, period, everything has to be done It has to start with keyword research.
Yeah.
And why would you do anything around a keyword or topic that gets zero traffic? Like, why
Mm.
would you waste your time? So sometimes I struggle with what what's popular and what keywords have the largest volume or at least some traffic. It's like everybody's doing it, but everybody's doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
And you can always put a different personality and spin on the same thing that everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. Just go out there and do better than other people. There's so many people out there that are just putting out really shitty content. I mean, really, really crappy content. And sometimes you look at it and you're like, how are they doing so well with this garbage? And
Mm.
if you see stuff like that, that's a huge opportunity that you could just do better and do something that blows them out of the water. And you can capture a lot of that audience and start pulling it away from those people. So look for opportunities like that. Um, you need to make sure that whatever you're putting out there is quality content. So
Mhm.
um don't worry about being perfect, but make it quality, make it matter, make it better than what you feel that other people's stuff is.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Paul says, "Are there any better ones than Google Keyword Planner? It seems to be so inaccurate, or I totally don't understand it. 90% say 10 to 100 or something like that." Okay, this is a good point, Paul.
Yeah.
Whenever you're researching keywords, especially in Google Keyword Planner, they all have a few different metrics, but you have to understand whatever the search volume is for any particular keyword, no matter what tool you're using, it's an average and it's an estimated average. So, what they're doing is they're taking the prior 12 months worth of search volume, estimating it, rounding it up, and making it an even number, and then saying this divided by 12 is the average search volume. That's the only way that you can actually know. Now, Google Keyword Planner, in order to get access to that, you have to have an a Google Ads account, and I'd say that's probably the most reliable, and a lot of other keyword tools get their data from that anyway. So you can go there. I have access to so many different keyword tools that I just compare. And yes, they're all over the board. Some will say 100, some will say 50 for the same exact keyword. But as long as I'm seeing the metrics on average being higher, then I automatically know that it's still a good keyword to go after. So it doesn't really matter if you use, one primary tool or 10. As long as your keyword volume is higher, then yes, it's a good keyword. That's a good point, Paul. I think a lot of people don't understand how keyword tools work.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I have Mike and Tom.
yeah, there's so many when it comes to SEO, there's so many research and analytics tools that no one really knows how they work.
Hmm.
And they don't learn what the visibility numbers are and what traffic numbers really mean and how it's actually calculated on the back end. And that's a big struggle. And unless you really understand that, you can think that you're doing bad when you're looking at those analytics, when in reality, you're doing pretty good. And let's face it, everything is an average. You have to measure all of that stuff over time. And as long as it's an average increase, then you're good. You know, things naturally go up and down. I'm looking at a screen right now where I measure, um, anywhere from 27 keywords to 50 keywords per client that I have. And I'm looking at one where it's shooting up and then it's going up and down. And I track these keywords every single day. 8 o'clock in the morning, one of my trackers goes off and it starts checking the rank trackers. But every single day, one day I'll get an alert that somebody went down. And the very next day they shoot right back up to where they were. And a lot of times with SEO, you will naturally go up and down every single day. It's just the way Google works. And you actually have a share of voice between all social media platforms as well as Google. And your share of voice is your average. We've run SEO tests in some of the groups that I've done, to where one of the guys in the group, he's got this software that it's super expensive, and he built like his own internal version for himself just for testing. And one of the cool things was he searched for keywords, like a whole set of keywords, just to test them. And he popped all these up, and they were all number one search results. And he's like, I wonder how much of the time they're actually number one out of so many searches. So he ran all these keywords searches for all these different URLs, and they weren't his clients or anything. They were just random things out there on the internet. And he found that the people that were doing the best, that were the number one results on average, they only held that number one position 70% of the time of all the searches that they have. So it doesn't matter if you're number one, eventually you're going to be number two. And he pummeled these searches for like days and ran these searches and tracked the results every 1 second. He was searching every second. And then he looked at all that, compiled all that data, and he's like, you can have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of searches for a keyword and you rank number one, but in reality, you're only number one an average of 70% of the time. That was his correlation on this test. And I found it very interesting. And I was like, man, like some of these really powerful brands they should always be stuck at the top. And he says, I found out no. And it was very interesting. So don't worry about your rankings fluctuating, because they will go up and down.
I was just going to say, in the Digital Marketing for Home Service Businesses Bible, chapter 3 and chapter 13 dive into SEO quite in depth. SEO for home service companies, and chapter 13 is advanced SEO techniques. So if you haven't purchased Mike's book yet, you can get that on Amazon, and it's in an Audible version. Just saying, throwing that out there.
We just had the Audible
plug for Mike
drop last week.
Dude, it's like, your stuff. Like, I'm sitting here listening to, I'm like, oh wow, that's cool, man. I'm learning stuff from you on that one. I don't know. That's why I'm just like, I trust you on all this stuff. So
it's tough. I am in a hard industry.
Yeah,
because of so many changes that have happened, and people manipulating things, with the algorithms of the search engines and social media, and people just figuring things out. And the reason that they figure it out is because they run tests. Like we run tests in my testing group, and it's amazing at what we find. All these SEO gurus out there, they'll post, oh, do this, like I said earlier. Like, what do you actually listen to that works? And we're like, oh, they say that works. I haven't experienced that. Let's test it and see if they're full of crap or not. And we find out and even Google had a massive leak recently, well, 3 months ago, I want to say. They had a massive leak of their algorithm and their API for their algorithm. And all this time they've been saying, like the heads of Google, the actual people that represent Google itself, and they're saying, "Oh, this doesn't work. We don't do things this way. This is not a ranking factor, and that's not a ranking factor." Well, guess what? Somebody pushed a button and it made their API, in their internal API, became public.
Yeah.
For a very short time, but it was a very short time that all that was needed
When it
for
caught it.
another system to index all that data,
Yeah.
and then that was public, and now it got out into the wild, and the SEO community was able to dissect this API and realize Google is full of shit, and they've been lying the whole time. And we know what those ranking factors are now. We know that they track this for a reason. There's an API call that's related to X, Y, and Z. And we now know that what they were saying X, Y, and Z is not a ranking factor. Now we know that it is. And it's those are the types of things that just get my juices flowing, you know, and
You're
'cause now
speaking
I can
Mike's
leverage
love
that.
language, or is that the
Yeah.
wrong kind of juices flowing?
It's it's cool when you see stuff like this, you know, even though it's always been like such a closely guarded
Yeah.
secret. And then, I mean, back in the day, we're like, oh, Google's got 200 ranking factors. Well, now we know that they're tracking like 14,000.
Hmm.
It's insane.
All right. So why is Mike always under so much stress as an SEO expert? Because he's always dealing with hyperlinks all day long. Hey,
Nice.
nice. Yeah. Why did the SEO pro cross the road? He was desperate for traffic.
There you go.
There are some decent SEO dad jokes out there. All right, cool.
There's a few. All right, I'm going to answer a question here. What do
Go
you
for it.
think about companies that are promoting this thing called geofencing? Is that target market a specific area? Yes. I do geofencing. Um, I do geofencing in Google Ads.
Really?
That's where you do it the most. Where you block out every ad from being shown outside of a specific circle or zip code. You're really drilling down into geofencing a specific geographic area.
Hmm.
So yes, you definitely have to do that.
So
Um,
geofencing, I think what came to my mind, and maybe this was Daniel's too, is like if there are several appliance companies in one certain area, and maybe you have a retail store, like you have an appliance retail store, and somebody goes into Home Depot, you have a geofence around Home Depot, where when they walk into Home Depot or they get close to Home Depot, something pops up on your smartphone saying, "Hey, check out EJ's Appliance Repair Shop. You know, we have all the top appliances, just like the big box stores." You know, maybe I don't know if Daniel, that was what you're thinking, but are you familiar with that kind of targeting as well?
yeah, I am, but it's much more complicated,
Hmm.
and that's based on, you know, like your geolocation on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Um, and if it doesn't really work very well with iPhones, because
Okay.
iPhone blocks a ton of tracking
Yeah. Yep.
stuff, and with
You're saying iPhones are better than Androids when it comes to safety? Is that what I heard you say?
no, that doesn't have much to do with actual safety that
That might
matters.
be one of the questions this week. iPhone or
It's a
Android?
privacy topic
Privacy. Yeah,
issue,
there we go.
and
There we go.
um, it's it almost doesn't matter because everybody still posts where they're at anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very false um false impression, that
Yeah.
sense of security that people
Well,
have. All right. Apple's just trying to make people feel good.
I'm currently in Walmart taking a dump.
Yeah.
Post.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
don't want to know you're in Walmart taking a dump.
Yeah. You know, anytime you take a picture, it's going to have your geolocation data
Yeah.
uploaded anyway. So, but anyway, getting back to the geofencing, there's retargeting that's based on location and where you've been. But today it's getting harder and harder to do that quickly and more accurately, just because of the tracking issues that people are having issues with exactly like iPhones. Apple's huge on that.
Mhm.
But is if they have their location on, or they're using a Google account that tracks where your located, then the geofencing would be definitely used. There's always something. There's multiple things in ways that these companies, you know, Facebook or well, Meta or Google or, you know, Apple, that they know where you live. You know, they know where you travel. They know where you've gone using your GPS data, whatever. So there are ways to do that.
Cool.
All right, we're going long, so we should probably
Yeah.
wrap this up.
This has been a great topic. Again, you can tell Mike and I are both passionate. Him in SEO, me in marketing. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Go to our channels, myofficehelp.com on your favorite social media or YouTube, ITD Web Design on your favorite social media or YouTube. You're on YouTube, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Service Alliance Group. And be sure to go like, share, subscribe. That's how you pay the fee. That's as cheap as it gets. Mike, what's
Speaking
going
of
on with the
marketing,
mastermind? Yeah.
all access members get in on our mastermind this Saturday. I'll be going over Google Business Profile Optimization.
Sweet.
Make sure you get into the website and get registered. Otherwise, you're not going to get the link.
Sounds good.
All
Have a
right.
great week.
Everybody have a good one. We'll see you next week.